What's up, y'all? It's your boy C coming back at you with another episode of C's Retro Garage, coming to you from outer space here in the free state of Florida, doing a little quick detail. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean we're gonna do a full detail, and when I say full detail, I mean wash, clay, wash again, polish, and wax. No, this is a corrective detail. Quick and dirty style, because that's what we're gonna do, just quick and dirty. So we're going to jump in on this. Yeah, it is nighttime, but it is February. The sky is absolutely crystal clear and beautiful, and so is the weather, so why not? Plus, you know how we roll here. We like to burn them in, not oil. So check it out. Okay, for those of you who are familiar with the 2016 Buick Encore, I'm not sure if you've ever noticed, but it does have a bit of a minor, not really, but minor defect. This right here. Just listen. Compared to this is called clear coat failure. And this is once it's progressed beyond clear coat failure, you get this. Now we got paint failure. This is, from what I can tell, insurance records do not reflect that this car was in an accident. I can see that it has been for a few reasons. One, this happened. This should never happen from the factory, not like this. Number two, if you look here, you can see that the bumper and the fender are not quite aligned. Number three, if you come here, it's actually missing the little plastic piece there that if you go to that side, you can see clearly is in place. So this car was repaired off the books, no insurance claim. Who knows who did this repair job, and they did a really shitty repair job. I can add number 4 if you want, meaning when they polished, you can see here how it's not perfectly smooth and clear as far as the headlight. You see the kind of faded, looks a little bit like an orbital sander-ish. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and jump on this. Now I'm not gonna do a perfect job. We're gonna clean this up so that it's a little bit more acceptable. So the first thing we're gonna do, and I'm not gonna bore you with that, is just wash the area. And I'm not gonna wash the whole car, just this area so we can work. So there's no need for me to film it. You guys know how to wash. Pick up a sponge, a little car soap, a little water, just wash it down, and then we'll get on it. Okay, if you can see, I washed it, but I left it soapy. We're gonna leave it wet for a reason. I'm gonna go up here to the shelf. Now this is wet sandpaper. I forgot to add, as always here at C's Retro Garage, we do encourage this practice. So make sure you spark up and then get to work. So in here I have 3 different grits of sandpaper, these wet sandpaper. Here, I have 3 grits. You can see that one of those, you can clearly see is 2500. It doesn't take much. I have 2500, 3000, and 2000. So what you do is you start sanding this area off very slowly by hand. I like doing it by hand. Don't use the machine. The machine can get away from you and then make it much worse. Because remember, we're doing this quick and dirty. So you go ahead and start there. So I'm gonna grab a little piece, which I know is this one. And as you can see, this one's 2000, okay? I leave this wet because this is wet sand. It works best wet. So fold it up and just very lightly work this area. Very gently, nothing fancy. Just go over it best you can. You want to make sure that you can go up, down, side, circular motion, but try not to go too far out. Just little by little. Go over it. Okay. Alright.
Repeat this same exact process with the 25 and the 3000. So again, not to bore you with details, but I'll go ahead and go over that. Wipe this down and then pick up from there. Alright, as you can see, much better. I actually got some bare metal here. Okay. Give it a little more water and now hit it with the clay bar. Same process. Clay bars, depending on who you believe, is anywhere between 4,000 to 6,000 grit. Doesn't really damage paint, but it picks up a lot of shit. So just go over this spot and back in a moment.
Alright, so this is what it looks like now. You can see it's somewhat clean. Let's go grab a microfiber towel just to wipe it down.
Grab a terry cloth, or if you have a chamois, even better.
Go ahead and wipe it down.
Okay. You can still hear
Get
the
it ready,
roughness, right?
so that it's nice and dry, and we can tape off the area to start painting.
It's going to be quick and dirty. The correct way is to
Alright, now that it's dry, let's walk over and grab our paint.
Real nice and neat to the bare metal, like here.
Before I do that, hold on, let me just
Of course, blend in primer your paint.
make sure this give it a feel. Okay. So now you see this. We're gonna mask this area off, and we'll go and start painting.
I need to invest in one. I really do. Pretty embarrassing for an art major.
Now this is the AC Delco paint. Got it off of Amazon. It is a exact match to factory. This is supposed to already be, one size fits all, with metal flakes and clear. Now when you're painting this, you want to make sure you just kind of tap it.
Alright guys, here you go. Area's all masked off. We protected the headlight. Did the best I could because I actually ran out of tape. But you can see this is actually masked off. We got our paint, and all we're going to do is just tap it, literally. Just a little tap. Nothing major. Just a little tap. Okay, a little tap. Okay, and then just let that sit there for a little bit. Come back, hit it again. You don't want to really get thick inside the tape lines, because then what happens is you're going to clearly see this. But remember, you're going to have to come back with that sandpaper and sand this back down again at some point. So right now, let's just coat one, relax, do it 2 or 3 more times, and then come back and have a look at it. Quick little update here. This is just right after the 3rd coat, and as you could see, this drawing, don't spray heavy. It's just quick little sprays. But you can see that's the original paint there compared to where the damage is. Now obviously this is damaged, right? And again, this is quick and dirty. This is not meant to be perfect yet. It will be one day, but not now. It's just that right now we don't want it to get out of control. There is a bit of a comedic side to this at the end, which you'll see. Some of you will probably want to crucify me. Others will probably just laugh it off and say, why didn't you do that in the first place? But you can see this is like I said, the original paint around it versus the paint on the inside. A couple little hits here and there, and then that's going to be it. I'll give this one more shot, because honestly, after this, you're pretty much done for now. If you look at the can here, see if it says to doesn't say any particular dry time, but I would assume 48 hours, use a mild rubbing compound. Okay, so this is kind of telling me that this is gonna take half of that, 24 hours to dry. We're gonna have to come back and hit it again. Remember what I said? Sand it again lightly to kind of blend this in a little. So after the next coat, we're done for the day. We'll pick up on this tomorrow. Alright, so let's fast forward 48 hours actually, or near 48 hours. You can see it's a big improvement, okay? You can still see a little spot here that I missed, okay? But overall, you know, it's a much better improvement than we had before. Now we can go one of two ways. We can go ahead and sand lightly again, very gently this time, and then polish. Hit it with a, hit it with a little polish, a little wax. Or what I'm gonna opt to do in this case, since I'm patient, I got a lot of time. Go ahead and clean this off one more time, and go ahead and touch this up. Now, I am gonna mask off up here. I don't want to get extra shit. Somebody's a little more professional might say don't mask off at all except for the headlight, and just kind of let the paint spray where it goes. I'm not gonna do that simply because the can itself is only supposed to be held at 15 to 20 centimeters, so it's still pretty close. I'm talking about, that far off. So we'll just go ahead and mask off and give it a couple little more hits, and then guess what? Wait another 24 hours. But as you can see from a distance, compared to before, it's not as bad. So let's go ahead and knock this out. Alright, as you can see, now it's just a matter of just letting this dry, giving it its right time. This is the stuff I'm talking about. So this you'll sand away, but we're gonna let this dry. I'll go at least 24 hours, maybe another 48, who knows. But let this all dry. This is just marks from the tape, you can see. Again, a lot of this will go away when you lightly sand it or even clay it. And then, go from there. So again, now we just wait and see. Okay, we are now 45 hours out from the last spray, as you can see. Granted, I understand this is nightfall or dusk. I believe you can take a look. Pretty much unnoticeable. Close enough though, you can see it. Okay. This is the tape, residue from the tape here. These little lines here. We'll go ahead and just lightly sand this straight 3000 grit. Smooth it out. And then go ahead and clay it, polish it, and be on to the next step. So at this point, like I said, from afar, pretty good, right? When you get light up on it, you can still see it. This is why I personally hate taping stuff off, but you don't really have much of a choice. You don't want it to spread too much, but this is why we will just lightly sand over this, remove the tape residue, clay it, and go to the next step. Alright, you can see now it doesn't look as pretty anymore because we scuffed it up a little bit. That's okay. This is after claying it, and while you're there, you might as well clay the entire hood. Okay, as you can see from afar, it's still not that noticeable. Okay, just in the light you can kind of see it. So the next step is just let this dry a little, and let's hit it with some polish. Go from there. Alright, I'm using the color treatment as my polish because this is black, okay? And I'm doing it by hand. You can see that's the pad. And you can see here's the polish done here. So right now, I'm just gonna let this sit, dry. Went ahead, just did the whole hood. Just let it sit and dry, get hazy. Once it gets hazy, oh, let me miss a little spot there. Right there. Okay. Let it get hazy, and once it gets hazy, go ahead and buff it. Just a regular old terry cloth. I'm just doing this by hand. Again, we're going kind of quick and dirty, as we mentioned before. Helps when you have the light, kind of seeing you miss little spots here and there. It's okay, it happens, right? I mean, after all, we're doing this at night, so those spots there. Okay. So let this haze up, and then come and wipe it off, and do it another time, and then that's a wrap. If it's not somewhat perfect, I mean somewhat better than before, then by all means you hit it with the polisher, with the machine polisher, but just a regular polisher. Alright, this is just one plain Jane coat of polish. As you can see, it's quick and dirty. Just kind of wiped it down by hand. Sure got hazy. You can see you still got a little bit of the damage here. The more I look at this, I can actually see that clear coat failure. But again, from afar, it's not that noticeable. So what you could do is hit, now that you've polished the whole hood, hit just this spot here. Hit it with that guy there. And get it as best you can. And then leg run finale. And again, remember, like I said, some of you will get a good laugh out of this, and some of you will crucify me. But whatever. Alright. See how well you can see this here. Give it some light. It's a heck of a lot better. Okay. Give it some light here. If you get the light real close, you will always see that defect, right? But from afar, it completely disappears. And from this distance, I would flash the light across it. It's not really there. That's pretty much it as far as this part is concerned. Now here comes the comedy. I told you some of you would want to crucify me, and others would say, why didn't you just do that from the get-go? And others would think it's genius. Look at this beautiful bra. Perfect fit. Look at that. You give this a little bit of that leather treatment for exterior, or some of the exterior treatment. Let the sun break this in. So look at that. Problem is solved, guys. I know. Go ahead, get your hammer and nails now. I got the cross waiting for you. But yeah, this is a wrap. This is done. But again, always remember, this is not a permanent fix. This is a temporary fix. It just so happens that where I live, the dealership is absolutely one of the worst, and they would fight with me tooth and nail to get that fixed, and I didn't want this to get any worse. So you do what you got to do, and then you can always improve upon it, adding this piece here. Good to go, and you're all set. But that's it. Have your laughs, have your I told you so's, have your ha-has, have your whatever they might be. But remember, I went to school to be a solutions provider, and I provided the solution. So there you go. Look at it from afar. Not bad. It's just going to be a matter of getting used to knowing that when you're behind the driver's seat, that, you know, this is the center of your hood. Other than that, that is a wrap. The rest is up to nature to take care of it for you. And see, I told you so. Some of you are nailing me to the cross right now for that video, but some of you at least did get a chuckle out of it, so I appreciate that. But I mean, it is simple as that. There is no, that's not the right way. That's just quick and dirty to kind of get you by, to keep your hood from rusting out until you can either get the hood replaced or until you can get around to fixing it properly the way you should. And you know, that does require quite a bit of time. It is pretty time consuming, and it does require the proper tools. So you need, you know, a good sander, you need an airbrush, you need the right paint, you need the right thinner, the right amount of clear coat to do that right. Like I said, the easiest thing is just swap out the hood, if you can find a cheap enough hood. But at this time, that's just not possible, unless you got a friend who works at a junkyard and can get you that hood. But that's it. It's a simple solution. Like I said, some of you were gonna nail me to the cross, and you're almost done nailing my feet to it right about now for that video, and the rest of you are thinking, also, why didn't you just do that from the get-go? But it's kind of a two-part video. But that's all there is to it, guys. So again, I want to thank you for stopping in. This is your boy C. Remind you to stay safe, be ye kind one to another. Peace out, and I'll catch you on the next one.